Hi, welcome back to the garden. Glad you could stop by. Today is Sunday, September 12th. We're going to talk about soil. What does cutting down corn have to do with soil? Well, I'm going to tell you. We had one viewer that's having a little difficulty with their sweet potatoes growing. I had another viewer ask me how to start a garden where all they have is lawn. So how does cutting down corn have to do with soil, starting a new garden, and making your sweet potatoes grow? I think it has everything to do with it. So come on, let's mulch. Now you can battle your soil, you can till it up, you can beat it up, or you can work with nature. So one of the things we do to help our soil is just cut and drop. And since we like to use grass, and since corn is basically grass, which we found out with the army worms that came through, they did a number on all the corn. Just cut it off right at the ground, leave the roots in. You do not want to disturb the life underneath the soil. Well, that's why we're starting here with the corn. You can cut those stalks in a couple pieces. Let's go ahead and get this rest of this out of here. We just cut and drop. That's just like adding another layer of grass to your deep mulch. And as you saw a couple days ago, we came in and layered in a whole bunch of grass. We dug down to the soil and we planted, and we've got crops coming up already. But back to the question at hand. Just make a pile. And you have to have it at least 4 inches minimum. And if you look at this, that's well over 4 inches tall. And just leave it alone. Now if you're worried your leaves are going to blow away, you can put a little grass on top of them, you can put a little wood chips on top of them. You'll be surprised how well they stay in place once you put them there. Now the grass, wood chips, and leaves are all well over a foot thick. Just leave them alone. In the spring, we'll pull it back down to bare soil, plant our seeds or our plants, whichever it may be. But for right now, just let the organisms do their work. That's all you have to do. Now I have a really good comparison. This soil here, where it's loose enough, it's still part of that old clay. This was the newest part of the garden. We didn't put anything down till last fall. As opposed to this, look how soft that is. We started mulching this about 3 years ago. You just keep adding grass, wood chips, hay, leaves, hay, whatever you can get your hands on. Actually, when you're mowing, if you can get some leaves with your grass, it makes a really nice combination. But it's something you have to work at. You have to keep after it. When's the best time to start a deep mulch garden? Oh, 7 years ago. When's the second best time to start a deep mulch garden? Right now, today. If you're starting in a yard that's covered in grass, you might want to put down some cardboard as a base layer. If you start piling up your organic matter at least a foot thick, leave it alone, it's going to take care of itself. If you are going to start a garden on a lawn, I would do that final mow down just as tight as you can get it. But if you pile up your organic matter at least a foot thick and leave it alone over the winter, you'll be ready to go in the spring. I know it's a little hard to see, but the thicker your mulch is, the better off you'll be. And until I started using the deep mulch, I couldn't grow a sweet potato. I could barely grow a tomato at all. To answer my questions of why I couldn't grow sweet potatoes or tomatoes or just about anything very well, did a little studying. I also wanted to figure out a way to eliminate the weeds without using herbicides. I sort of stumbled upon this deep mulch. It has to do with soil health. It really is true. The better your soil, the better your plants. The better your plants, the better your harvest. The deep mulch does regulate the temperature of the soil, and the microbes that live underneath there and do all the work, they like it around 75 degrees. When you till, you can raise that temperature up to 100 degrees and kill all those microbes. It's the middle of September and we're still harvesting over 10 pounds of tomatoes a day, and I credit it all to the deep mulch. It's all about soil health, and I believe deep mulch will work in a raised bed as well as a traditional garden. Now, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the wheres and what fors of deep mulch, I've linked several episodes at the end of this one. Now trust me, I used to be of the school of thought that you had to till and add fertilizer every year. But what I found is if you put the deep mulch down, you're virtually weed free and you don't have to do near as much work. This garden speaks for itself. Well, I hope this helped you out. Pile your organic material 8 inches thick to start with. You want a minimum of 4 inches when you start planting. This stuff goes away pretty quickly, you'll be amazed. But remember, the better the soil, the better the plant. The better the plant, the better the harvest. Now we can fight nature, or we can just go with the flow. There's one other benefit. By doing a deep mulch like this, the carbon capture is amazing. Instead of putting it into the atmosphere, it turns back into soil, it turns back into plants. Well, I want to thank you for coming to the garden. And remember, until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant. Let's go plant garden.